oh, you're never gonna believe this. And I was embarrassed at first, but yeah, well, it's okay, cats. Sometimes we start something and it doesn't go the way we think. My shaver said a full charge, but it ran out. Yeah, it did, and I didn't have my charger on me. I do now. So we're gonna go get it charged, and we're gonna finish the job, and it'll be fine. But in the meantime, I am owning the Two-Face thing. It's fine. Disturb the Normal. If you're a Tool fan, then you know about Chet Zar, or should. He is kind of, well, I guess the OG is Cam DeLeon for the live visuals and such. But it was very shortly turned over to Chet Zar, and with good reason. He is a brilliant animator. And in the early 2000s, or mid to early aughts, or early to mid aughts, he had a DVD of his animations called Disturb the Normal. So it's like, okay, well, it's kind of my thing here, I guess. I think different, and I'm kind of owning the weird Two-Face thing. Thought about Alex Gray too, and all of the weird looks that he did. Although that was on purpose. Mine, like, literally was just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah. So there you go. I crossed paths with the dude a couple of times. He was wearing a Super Mario shirt, and that was super cool. Gave him a compliment, and want to give him a shout out too, because anybody who's choosing to be healthy and turn their life around, like, I am the biggest supporter. So if I run into you again, dude, expect a high five or something, knuckles or something. Do I get to sneeze this time? No. So I have a theory about the afterlife, if anybody wants to hear it, and I know you don't, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So George Carlin, I might have brought this up before, but George Carlin had this thing about the big electron. Whoa. I have a thing that when we die, we get every sneeze that didn't make it out. You know that feeling where they just get stuck and you're like, oh, yeah. And it's like the only thing that you want, like the itch that you can't scratch kind of thing. Well, for me, death, that shedding of skin, is the big sneeze, where we get everything back in one massive inverse Big Bang. I like it, and you can't prove me wrong. That's the great thing about the afterlife. Like, nobody knows anything. So that's my thing. That's my entrance into the next whatever, a transition, and just the big sneeze, where every sneeze that got stuck and you couldn't get relief from, it just gets released all at once. So I'm, it's going to be a great day when that happens, but I can wait. I rather like life no matter what. So there's that. I just want to share my ridiculous look, because I didn't have my charger on me, so I had to go walk and get it. Now I'm going back. So stupid. It's fine. It's fine. There was some other stuff that I wanted to say too. Yeah, that's okay. But it smells so good. Yeah. Well, very much looking forward to this ascent thing. And yesterday I had a moment of weakness. It happens. People break down too. That's why I brought up Hourglass. We all do, no matter how good you are. It's I had a moment of weakness, and I don't have a good way of expressing that. Like, expressing yourself calmly when you are actually in a desperate situation again, constantly, it's just unrealistic. It's an unrealistic expectation of anybody. And so, whatever. So I deleted a ton of notes that I rather would not have But the good thing about technology is like it all exists. So it's not like it disappeared. It still exists somewhere. So, forward to it. Same thing with the stuff that I wrote in that Book of Mormon in the Weber County Jail. It's coming back. And that is some damn good poetry too. Like that is some really good stuff. I had a cellmate. His name was Jorge. I don't remember his last name. It was the general population one, not the first one. 2 Jorges. And I just kind of shared, my background in music, kind of encouraged people, and him specifically, just because, we were having the conversation, so it was him and me. But, it was within earshot of the 11 others. And, I'm just like, just start, What kind of stuff do you like? Do you like rap and stuff? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, okay, cool. So you already understand, like, the cadences and the flows and stuff. Just put pen to paper, see what comes out. That's all I do. It's the same thing every single time. I have no idea what's going to come out. Like that poem about the dream catcher and connecting it with the fishing net. Never had that idea in my life. I just kind of went with it, And so, yeah, it's just like that. You start, you try, you put the pen to paper, and you never know what can happen. And that's all I did. And I, unlucky penny. Cool, tails, yeah, neat. Uh-oh, wow, Two-Face, huh? Weird messed up heads and a not as messed up tails. Okay, cool, well, I'll keep it. It's not as cool as the one I found at the Lincoln Memorial. That was heads up, by the way. So super lucky, the luckiest of pennies. But no, I mean, when you're starting anything, whether it's an instrument or a hobby of any kind or a passion or anything, and I mean, they all start off with just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that I like it and I want to try. That's broad strokes, You get the finer tuning and finer details as you go. And so, I'm just a massive supporter of anybody trying to do something good, no matter what. So, who knows? I mean, maybe he's, we don't have pens in county, but he had pencils. Obviously, I had to write with something. So, just a massive supporter of human beings and humanity and the humanities, because that's the most important thing. That's how we keep track of stuff. I am so much more in favor of art history. And that's why I love Seattle so much. You drive down Washington Boulevard here in North Ogden, and it's like, we honor the war veterans. Like, fuck war, dude. What are you doing? Like, do you even realize what you're celebrating and why? You go to Seattle and there's indigenous imprints everywhere. I grabbed the wrong freaking thing, didn't I? No, I didn't. It's here. Oh, thank God. Oh, sheesh. It's in here, or ought to be. But I would have been so pissed. Gosh, come on. It better be in here. If I don't have much, yeah, it's right here. Okay, great. So, I think, gotta be connected, disconnected, doing things one-handed, blind. What am I doing? I'm just gonna put this down for a second. I don't know. There you go. Okay, great. So, got that. But yeah, you go to Seattle, there's indigenous stuff everywhere, there's art everywhere, and it tells the history of, like, the people not being conquered and not being conquerors. Like, it's proper. You know what I mean? It's proper history. Because it's celebrating what the people actually do. What they actually make. And I think that's very telling of this place. And that's why I want to turn it into like there we go, an art mecca, a second Renaissance area, and rename it. Something not derivative of a place doing kind of that. I love the art community in Oregon. I really do. I miss it. And so when I can get down there and, celebrate it, I'm going to. Okay. All right. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, anybody who chooses to serve is great. I just have a very different view on what serving actually is. What are we serving and why? I would argue, and I do, that if we are going to serve our country, there should be no homelessness or poverty. And there definitely shouldn't be stigma toward those things either. Kind of telling, I think. How you treat people at their worst and their least says way more about you than it does them. So I'm just gonna clean some stuff up here while I'm here. See, this is more service than most people do when they get a wage. You know, we favor jobs, but do we favor honest work? Bringing that up all the time, like, pick up after yourselves. You know, pay attention. You know, maybe once your reservation is done, throw the paper away instead of waiting 2 days for somebody else to do it. No, that's not service. That's not even paying attention. That's not being conscientious at all. That's mindlessness. So I would say that serving has to do with what you're actually doing in your communities. How do you view the people that are not, the prettiest, like me, right? How do you think about the unemployed, and why is it so much more important that I get a job instead of like, hey, could you text like 2 or 3 people this stuff that I actually did honest work on my entire life without getting paid or recognition? Why is that so arduous? Why is that a non-starter? Why are you choosing to not do that? There's no excuse. You don't even look at it. You know, I get disagreed with a lot. I get that so often, mostly from family. You know, it's, I don't agree with everything you say. Okay, well, what was the last video you watched from beginning to end? Is what I'm going to ask from now on. You say that you don't agree with me. Okay, well, prove it. Like, what do I actually say? Because if you paid attention and actually took in what I was saying, you couldn't disagree. Like, disagreeing with truth is really not an option. So, what was the last thing that you watched from beginning to end? And I can help you understand. But if you're just going to make assumptions and jump to conclusions, then, you know, you decided to kill the relationship. And that's not on me. Again, that says more about other people's character than it ever does mine. And then there's this thing about sacrifice. And I know that's ringing bells too. It's like, these people sacrifice. Yeah, I sacrificed my freedom as well. Instead of vegging out in front of TV and video games and just like taking everything lying down like most people do, I was out like actually creating things of immense worth and value that nobody even looks at over here. Much different. What are we sacrificing and why? So I sacrificed consumerism so I could create something of lasting value. I sacrificed, you know, a lot of things that are actually worth sacrificing. You know, and I don't really care. I would do it over and over again. You know, I saw the value of trying to end poverty and figured out how. You know, I saw the value of like, you know what? Homelessness is really messed up. If we're going to say that we care about people, then we need to actually do something about it. And I figured out several ways to do that. Like I started that venture in 2015, 16, or 17. You know, like that has been at least 8 years solid of unnoticed and unrecognized and work that has been like completely taken for granted. So, yeah. And then jobs. Okay, great. Beans and brews. Why wasn't the water thing filled up? Why was the napkins empty? There were 3 of you. Do you not pay attention? Like, you're getting paid. You're not even doing stuff on your job description. Like, if you don't want me calling stuff out, then, like, have a higher work ethic. Show up. You know, you agreed to it and you're getting paid for it. Like, and this is not, I mean, it's so common. So you're sacrificing actual service for, like, what? Like, look at this. Nobody asked me to do this. I'm just doing it. So, ew, it's wet. Why is it wet? Now I have chlamydia. Shit. Just kidding. That's not how anything works. But you know what I mean? Thankless work goes unrecognized. I don't care. Nobody asked me to do it. I did it anyway. That is work ethic. That is meaningful service. See something, do something. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do the rest. It's too small. All these congrats things and stuff is fine. They'll be picked up in like a lawnmower or whatever. You know, it's cool. I did the broad strokes. Y'all can do the fine details, right? We help each other out. So, you know, what are we sacrificing? And why is sacrifice so special? Because so far, y'all have sacrificed me. And that's not okay. I'm alive and I have a lot of worth and a lot of things of immense value that you also sacrificed. That is also not okay. Like, whether it's solutions for peace and prosperity or the music that will hit ears and hearts and change lives for the better. You know, I don't care. You sacrificed it all, and for what? You know, it's going to be recognized, and, you know, I would like to include people, but if y'all are going to continue to shut me out, then I'm not going to. You know, dead horses don't get to ride with me. So I expect people to actually show up and pull their weight and be able to handle direct conversation and direct feedback. You know what I mean? So, I run a tight ship. Yeah, my expectations are high, but I am an adult. You know, I have actual work ethic. I know my worth, and I don't settle for less. Oh my goodness, there's a sucker! Yeah, dude, what's up? I did get paid after all, sweet. I don't know that I am gonna eat it, because it feels like it's, I don't know. It is wrapped, right? It is wrapped, it's wrapped, it's wrapped. Oh, there's chewing gum in it? I don't know about that. Lolly cream. Cool. Yeah, why not? Maybe I will. Hey, that was loud. What else? We're at 17 minutes. Okay, well. So, what I like to sacrifice is my concept of self. You know? It's the best thing to get rid of. You know? If you look up to Jesus, that's what he did. You know, so trade your spot on the cross for him. He stands for love, and that's what I'm doing. You know, that's why I'm stressing so much the eternal mind and perfect love so much. Anybody think to ask Christ what he actually wanted to be remembered for, other than that disgusting image of, like, the crown of thorns and bleeding and stuff? You know, the resurrection is about a switch in your heart. It's the same thing as conversion. That's right here and now. And I respect anybody's beliefs, but, you know, you got to do the stuff while it matters right here, right now on earth. You know, and it doesn't matter how you slice it. When I was at church in jail, you know, he, the guy doing the leading or whatever, I refused to say teacher. He wasn't teaching anything worthwhile. I was a better teacher that day. But, you know, he brought up the 12 steps. And step 1 is surrendering to a higher power and admitting that you have no control over your life or that it is a mess. And that's true. Like, Bill W. knew what he was doing. His 12 steps are brilliant when done well. And then I brought up the rest. I decided not to go direct. You know, days earlier I was sending an email using actual LDS materials about their repentance process. And yeah, you do have to show up and actually atone for your own sins with that person that you caused harm to. There's no way around it. It does not matter how you slice it. It is the same process. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, you got to show up. You got to do the actual work while it matters. So, I mean, I don't know. Just speaking my mind. Looking weird while I'm doing it. So, yeah, this looks way better, doesn't it? Yeah, I care about my environment quite a bit. So, I don't know. I would say that sacrificing the need to be right is probably the thing that needs to happen most for a lot of people around here. you know, doing right is so much better. So try it. You know, stop making the person that is actually like suffering do all the apologizing, because seriously, like I was telling another family member today, like, I'm the only one who ever apologizes. I noticed that. Do you guys? Because, you know, I've presented plenty of proof, I feel like. I say sorry. I apologize. I change my ways. And y'all want to keep me in the past as if I'm a criminal. A week and a half ago was not today. But, you know, like I was saying, with this whole thing starting, I had a moment of weakness yesterday because, you know, I really, really want things to work out. I want to include people in my life. I want to make amends. I want to do the right thing. I do the right thing and I get shit on. So, you know, I don't like being in that dark place. And I was sleep deprived, and that does make a massive difference. So, now as long as I can stay warm at night, last night was way better. It was way better. Like, I like sleeping under the stars. I just like to be able to shower and stuff too, you know what I mean? So, yeah, whatever, it'll work out. I will marry who I marry, and we'll go on to our happily ever after, and y'all get to enjoy, like, no, this classic car is the only car ever. It has to be done this way. Yeah, good luck with that, dude. Like, I've tried to invite all of y'all to bigger and better, and you just, like, refuse under every circumstance at every turn, so whatever. I'm seeing a lot of, you know, compass needles pointing toward the ascension of Atlas, and that's what I'm riding, so, you know, the right people are going to notice, and when they do, like, that's that. Like, providence is going to happen. You know, progress is going to happen. This is going to turn into a hub for the second Renaissance. Like, that vision is going to happen. So, it'd be nice to have you guys along. So, for those of you outside of this area and, you know, listening and liking what you hear and noticing the value and everything, well, thank you. You guys are my cats. You guys are the candles, the transformative light and warmth. The Ashigaru, the sharp-minded peacemakers who know what to sacrifice and how and what to serve. And the real tides, who insist on the shared light. And the shared pull and the shared water cycle. So thank you so much for being here. Let's do this.